As you can see, we have a decent amount of weather forming up over here. I knew that was going to develop. There was going to be some pockets that were going to be in our favor. It's a pretty big development right over there. And then we got another one over here.
Well, this was a really fun trip that I recently did with Otto down to Delta, Colorado. However, there is a catch. It kind of turned into an unfortunate and expensive trip on the basis that, yes, it destroyed my iPad. Now, this is a new iPad. So this one is in working order and just fine. However, my last iPad fell to the demise thanks to the Mooney and its landing gear system, which is this rod right here. It's called the Johnson bar of a landing gear. It's a manual landing gear mechanism. You retract this collar and slide it down into this lock right here for retract. Now, we're often taught with complex aircraft, keep the area clear, and that is very true, and that's partially where I made this mistake on this trip to Delta, Colorado with this plane. I was departing Delta, and there was a Cherokee coming into the pattern that wasn't announcing his calls. And I had just lifted off, and I saw him coming across, and so I diverted left. Normally I keep my iPad right here on my leg. Some people will argue, why don't you get a dash display? Why don't you get a leg strap, yada yada, to keep it in your area? That is true. I fly too many aircraft to constantly bring a suction cup dash display, so that's out of the question. However, a leg strap for my iPad probably is a smart decision. I've done this method for years, and it's worked just fine, except up until this particular trip. This Cherokee came into the pattern unannounced. I saw him. I made a hard left to avoid any issues of a collision or possible incursion, whatnot. As I made a left, the iPads had come down here. Eyes are outside focused, airspeed, scanning, watching for the aircraft. As I went down to retract the Johnson bar, this was in the way. And I had used a very high amount of force because I thought, oh, it's just not locking down. And then I heard a pop. And I knew that wasn't a good sound on the basis of that something was in the way and it had just popped. I didn't think about it. The iPad had moved over, got the gear locked. I was gonna climb out to the altitude that I wanted to be at, which was around 12.5. Then came in the factor of, all right, navigation, let's get everything I had preloaded, ready to go. And I pulled my iPad out, and well, as you can see in these photos, it was absolutely crushed. The Johnson bar had just absolutely decimated the iPad. And in fact, it had bent it almost in a U shape. So that kind of gave a factor of how much force is in the landing gear system of a Mooney. And that also brings the light of always have your area clear. Obviously, I was in a scenario where I was kind of moving in a way that was avoid a conflict, and that happened. But I still could have done a better job of mitigating that from happening. A strap around my leg to hold my iPad, something like that. Or I could have kept it on my left leg instead of my right to remove any incident of it sliding down into the area of the landing gear bar. So with that being said, that's unfortunate. It was a costly mistake. Everything's fine. I got a new iPad, but mistakes happen. And if you can learn from those, that makes you a better pilot at the end of the day. And no hard feelings against the lovely Mooney. But it is quite amazing how much force is in this landing gear bar for it to absolutely crush the iPad. And well, enjoy this flight because it was very scenic and some pretty interesting weather along the route. Mountain flying definitely has its perks, also has its code brown moments, and you definitely have to respect it with a utmost level just due to the type of terrain, weather, and the variables that are against you, especially in something from 1963, which makes it even more interesting. So thanks for watching this episode, and fly safe and find ways to reduce issues in the cockpit area. It's very important, and we often get complacent about that. All right, so today's mission is flying west over several mountain ranges to a town known as Delta, Colorado. Taking this gorgeous 1963 Mooney M20C. I really like these. I'm pretty new to Mooneys, but after spending some time with this one, I actually see why they're very appealing to most owners. They're fast, their burn rate's not very high, they're just a good general utility aircraft, and the speed range is pretty good considering how old this is. So just did a quick pre-flight on this. Sun is just about to rise, and weather's looking good right now, quote unquote now. It's been the weirdest June I've ever seen as far as aviation weather goes, just dealing with storms and everything involved with it. So it's definitely been a very heavily weather involved month, I would say, to begin the summer. Nuggets back here, right? And yeah, so things are looking good now, hence why we're starting at 5 a.m. to get going and see how the next series of flying goes. I'm gonna cross a couple of mountain ranges here. Super scenic mountain flying. Once again, I don't take very lightly. I respect it heavily because you just have to be smart about it. You don't have a lot of outs in general with mountain flying, and so I'm a little bit more of a quote-unquote safety Nazi when it comes to flying at these altitudes. Our general altitude we're going to shoot for is 14,000. En route's about an hour and 30, so we're going to have to kind of dip down to some lower levels to get oxygenated back up, and then we'll climb back up to 14 just in periods. So that's the plan. Pre-flight's looking good. Obviously it's rained a lot last night, so I just want to double check I didn't have any water contamination in areas that shouldn't. So buckle up, let's get going.
Colorado available from flight service. Notices to airmen, taxiway, hotel, safety area not standard. Temporary flight restrictions in effect at the Rocky Mountain Metro 269er radio 10 nautical mile fixed. Service to 9,000 mean sea level 1.25 nautical mile radius for blasting operations. Radio altimeter unreliable due to the 5G C-band interference near Rocky Mountain Metro.
Metro traffic clear, tag 397, taxiing to 30 right via Romeo 3, Metro traffic. What's up, everybody? So right now we are en route to Delta, Colorado. Looking like we are 58 minutes from our destination. Anna's doing good back there. As you can see, we have a decent amount of weather forming up over here. I knew that was going to develop. There was going to be some pockets that were going to be in our favor. It's a pretty big development right over there. And then we got another one over here. Right now we are pretty good altitude, and we're going to come right through this valley, drop down, and then head west. That's the plan. For how much weather is currently going on, it's surprisingly smooth. Very little turbulence, which is shocking. So we'll just continue on this journey, and everything goes well. We'll be in Delta here in about 58 minutes. I know, you're probably like, oh, we've seen enough of this scenery, but this view is just, you can't beat it. Just, camera probably does not do any justice of how gorgeous it is from up here.
Delta, Blake Field Airport. Automated weather observation. 1326 Zulu. Weather. Wind. Calm. Visibility. 10. Ceiling 7,000. Overcast. Temperature 14 Celsius. Dew point 10. Altimeter 3016. Remarks. Present weather identification not available.
It's amazing to me how diverse the environment is. This is like desert with muddy rivers, you know, right here, and we just came from snow-covered mountains and sub-freezing temperatures. It's just crazy to me, I guess, how the variety of weather and terrain there is in just one state. Like 180 nautical miles can completely change. Huh. Well, this is Delta, Colorado. What do you think, Doug? I've never been here before. The air was awesome coming in here. As soon as we got over the mountain pass, it was just butter. Perfect. Some cool aircraft. There's an old Mooney there.
Yeah. Pretty cool spot. Weather was questionable coming over here, but it was flyable. It's definitely flyable. And as soon as I got over the last mountain range, the turbulence completely went away. It was actually turned out to be really nice. So Mooney did great. Now we got to head back and beat this storm system that's on the other side of here. But I've never been here before. There's actually some pretty cool aircraft. Like, I don't know what that is, like a motor glider, but from the 60s. Really nice RG in the distance. I mean, these views here too are just pretty gorgeous over here. Weather is quite nice here too. Temperature's perfect. Plane's flying great. Nugget's doing good. He's a little pooped. He did a little bit of running. But, all right, we'll head on back and continue.
All right, well, we got Nugget loaded up. We're gonna depart and get out of here.
Montrose traffic, Cherokee 292 Whiskey Charlie, 2 mile final to runway 13, circling around to runway 35.
And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed our trip to Delta, Colorado from KBJC in a 1963 Mooney M20C. And we are going to head back east and hopefully beat these storms. And I promised Otto a park day. So that's the plan. Right, buddy? Regular park? What I thought. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that subscribe and like button and more aviation videos to come.